This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.
Everywhere with you.
Daikin.
Good day, Singapore. This is former Manchester United player Peter Schmeichel, and you're listening to the guys on 938 Live Sports.
From 938 Live.
This is Formula One driver Fernando Alonso.
Hi Singapore, I'm Jürgen Klinsmann.
Hi, I'm Martin Tyler.
This is Annika Sorensen.
Hi Singapore, this is Johnny Wilson. You're locked on to the best in sports. Cheers.
You're listening to Singapore's longest running and only sports talk show on radio. A good Saturday to you and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Noor and our discussion today will once again be focused on the 2014 FIFA World Cup. And joining me as my co-host today is Noor Farhan.
Well, thanks Noor. Now we've finally come to the end of the group stage and we've certainly had plenty of drama, goals and talking points over these past 2 weeks. So over the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to preview the upcoming games in the round of 16, predict the teams which will likely progress to the quarterfinals.
That's right, and we'll also be giving away prizes from Adidas and Sony Music in our phone-in contest. Now, one of the hot favourites to win the World Cup this year is Germany, and with the likes of Thomas Müller and Bastian Schweinsteiger in their team, they certainly stand a very good chance of going all the way this year. So today, one lucky listener will get a chance to win for themselves the national home jersey of the Germans, worth about $100. We are giving away the large size version only though. In addition, we'll also be giving away the national home jersey of Japan, who despite having already exited the tournament are still considered one of the top teams in Asia. Each winner will also take home the official World Cup CD album, which has close to 20 tracks from several renowned artists like Shakira, J-Lo, Pitbull and Ricky Martin, amongst others. So that's in our phone-in contest coming later, when you have to answer a simple question based on the World Cup.
Alright, then we have right now 3 sports journalists from our local media with us in the studio today. We've got Zico, who's the editor of 442.com in Singapore. He's joined by the deputy editor of Gold Singapore, Teng Kiat. And completing the lineup of our guests today is Kenneth Ho, who's a journalist for Vox Sports. That's VOX Sports. A good Saturday to all three of you, and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. Right, Z, let's begin with you. Before we talk about the World Cup, though, let's tell our listeners briefly about the online version of 442 Singapore.
First of all, guys, lovely to be here today. Thanks for having me. 442 is, as you guys know, it's the biggest football magazine brand in the world. We're now in Singapore. If you like our magazine, 442.com is an extension of that. You get to read all the latest news and features every day in Singapore. And basically, we're all about access, insight, and passion with a dose of humor. It's always good. There's the best features online every time. Local news, local sports news, and also international football news. And now with the World Cup here, all about the World Cup.
So it's not just about football, there's a bit of humor there going on as well, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's the way we look at things. I mean, it's for the discerning football viewer. I mean, we have this free app, this really great app called StatZone. It's available on the web browser as well as online, where you can find all the latest stats from matches going around the world, and you can impress your friends.
Alright, Teng Kiat from goldsingapore.com. Tell our listeners about your website.
Hello everybody, good morning. I'm glad to be here. Much like Z's website, we are the number 1 football website in the world, go.com. This is a Singapore branch, so it's go.com/en-sg. And we have 1 million unique visitors to Singapore right now, so that makes us probably the biggest website right here. And obviously we cover foreign football and obviously the World Cup, but we do cover local football as well to give a local touch to it. So we're basically the one-stop place for football here.
Alright, and Kenneth, Vox Sports has been busy over the last few weeks, haven't they? Do share us a bit about the media company.
Oh, hi everybody, I'm Kenneth here. Vox Sports is basically a media company that covers all kinds of sports in Singapore. For the past few weeks, we have been covering the Southeast Asia Swimming Championships and the World University Floorball Championships. And we are also the official media provider for the AS League. So I get to cover my fair share of football in Singapore as well.
And you're a big football fan, yeah,
yep.
isn't it?
Arsenal,
together with Noor Tan.
Yes, and Z as well.
And Z as well, oh my god, surrounded by goodness in the studio this Saturday
morning. Well,
Teng
Kiat and Farhan are United fans, so we'll leave them.
Alright.
Okay, on to the World Cup now. And the first round of 16 match is happening at midnight tonight, Singapore time. It's between the host nation, Brazil, and one of the most exciting teams in the World Cup so far, Chile. Now, Z, let's start with you. What's your assessment of the two teams' performances in the group stage so far?
Well, first of all, Noah, I mean, you have to say there's been lots of pressure on Brazil, as favourites going to the tournament, as they're playing at home too, so, there's lots of hope on their shoulders, and they've done pretty well. There's been a bit of stumbles here and there, but generally they've come through the group stages unscathed. And Neymar's been looking good, so that's a huge bonus to them. For Chile, they start off a bit slow. They start off fast, actually, then it was a bit bad in the first game against Australia, when they stumbled a bit. But they've slowly gotten better. I mean, players like Alexis Sanchez has been huge for them. So this is going to be a pretty exciting contest between two countries that are going to go forward in the second round.
Now, of course, as the host of the tournament, Brazil obviously enjoy a lion's share of the support in any stadium they play in. But do you think this could have an undesired effect on the team instead, in terms of the added expectations and pressure heaped upon them? Because, especially in the opening match, I thought Neymar was trying to do a little too much on his own. He's the poster boy after all. So is he trying to do too much, and is the team just crumbling? Will they crumble under the pressure, you think?
Well, there's something we speculated on before the tournament, but as you can see, apart from a few early, hiccups, they've done pretty well. Brazil have gone through their second, third matches looking pretty intimidating, so I would expect them to be over their early, hiccups.
And it's the round of 16 next. I mean, it's really important that they get that pressure off their heads and just focus on the game, don't you agree?
I do agree. It is important because from now on, if there are any mistakes happening, it might be that might be it for them. So no more mistakes from now on.
All right, now on to you, Tinken, and the game following Brazil's clash with Chile will see Colombia take on Uruguay at 4 a.m. Now, personally, I've been very impressed with the Colombians' performances in the tournament so far, without Radamel Falcao, I might add. And do you think that they have what it takes to go all the way?
I would agree with you. I think most people have been impressed at how well they've done. I think them to do well before the start, and they have, especially without Falcao. And they were actually second in qualifying, being Argentina, so they have a bit of pedigree behind that coming into the tournament. This is the first time they have topped their World Cup group. They have won 3 games, which is as many as they won in 13 previous games. So with the likes of Ames Rodriguez, Jackson Martinez, Armero, I mean, these are all players who are playing in top flight European clubs. So you can see that they're hungry for the win. They are young, they are fast, they play very attacking football, and they've taken everybody by surprise. So I would expect them to do well.
All right, now, before we go on to the topic of Luis Suarez, who is a Liverpool man, we have an ex-Liverpool man, how about that, on the phone right now with our sports editor, Raj Kumar. And yes, hello, Raj.
Hi guys. With me right now, like you said, is the Liverpool legend himself and the former England striker, Michael Owen. Michael, welcome back to Singapore. First off, I got to ask you, this whole thing with Luis Suarez, do you think it's justified, the 4-month ban?
Well, I think it probably is justified. Yeah, I think he's had 2 warnings prior to that. It's the 3rd time he's bit someone in a football game, so I think it probably is justified. It's a long sentence. You have to feel sorry for Liverpool, who have done nothing wrong in this whole episode, and they're going to get punished for it. But I think from FIFA's point of view, they probably made the right decision.
Now, in the last 2 seasons, he's already been suspended 18 matches, both for the Patrice Evra incident and then the Branislav Ivanovic thing as well. Do you think Liverpool fans should welcome him back in November with open arms?
Well, I'm sure they will. He's obviously a fantastic player, and nobody's disputing what he does on the pitch. It's the things that he does, the biting incidents, and obviously, as you mentioned, the Patrice Evra incident as well. When he's been punished for them all. And again, he's being punished severely for this one. So it's, you just hope that this is a deterrent. He doesn't do it anymore. And if he does do it anymore, then you just expect an even longer ban, which will seriously influence his career.
Talking about the club, this morning, the big announcement, Adam Lallana has re-signing for £25 million. He, of course, is the second signing following Ricky Lambert. We've got one more in Emre Can from Bayer Leverkusen coming in next week. What do you make of Liverpool season, and the new signings?
Well, I think it's a good sign. I like the way Liverpool act early in the transfer market. They tried to move quick. I expected them to buy more defensive players, if I'm honest, but certainly with Lambert and Lallana coming, that'll strengthen their attacking options, and we'll see. I think they'll probably try to go into the transfer market for extra players, as I say, maybe in defence.
talking about Liverpool players, we had 5 at least in the England squad for the World Cup with Johnson, Sturridge, Sterling, Steven Gerrard and Henderson. How would you sum up England's campaign in Brazil?
Well, from a Liverpool point of view, it was obviously fantastic because there weren't just 5 players in the squad; they were all playing in the team. So it was. It just goes to show how much Liverpool have improved over the last season, and hopefully they continue. England in general in the World Cup, obviously we're poor. We only got 1 point out of a possible 9. If there's any positives, we played a lot better this time than we did 4 years ago. But still, even though we played okay in 1 or 2 games, it still wasn't enough. And it's back to the drawing board for English, the national team.
Last 2 questions. A quick note on the World Cup. You've got 16 teams. Of course, in the round of 16, 8 are from North, Central, and South America. 6 are from Europe. 2 are from Africa. What do you think of the 2 teams that are going to make it all the way to the grand final?
Well, I predicted Argentina at the start of the tournament to win. I've been impressed with a lot of teams, really. I think Holland have played particularly well. France have exceeded my expectations. Belgium look quite strong. Obviously, Brazil and Argentina are the favourites, but I think Argentina. I'm not going to change my mind from the original pick.
Especially since you scored against them in the 1998 World Cup. As Martin Tyler said, the boy wonder from England. Very quickly, what's been keeping you busy these days after your footballing career?
Lots of things, really. I do the television back home in England for BT Sports and other TV work around the world. And then I also look after some young football players, try to advise them, and then obviously time for sponsors and family. So I've got lots of things on and very little spare time at the moment.
Okay. On that note, Michael Owen, thank you very much. Glad to see you back in Singapore again, and we wish you the very best for the rest of your career.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Farhan and Noor, it's back to you guys to the studio.
Well, thanks, Raj. And that was Liverpool legend Michael Owen speaking to you live with our sports editor Raj Kumar. Owen's, of course, in the Republic at the courtesy of Wisma Atria. And you can catch him at the shopping mall this afternoon at about 3 p.m.
Alright, you're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live, and today we continue our coverage of the FIFA World Cup as the tournament heads into the knockout phase. Now, we left off at the Luis Suarez biting incident, and we have to talk about it, although it's a bit distasteful. So maybe Kenneth, let's go with you. What was your first reaction when you saw what Suarez had done?
Shock.
Obviously, anybody will be surprised when you look at the incident. You'll be wondering why would he be doing that. Uruguay was still making it to the next round. They were still fighting for for qualification, and they were not losing. They scored a goal a minute after that and things like that. So you have to wonder why Suarez had to do that. I mean, this isn't the first time. He should know better. Everyone's looking at him
on the world stage as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's his 3rd time, a bit unforgivable. So, on that note, Z, do you approve of the way FIFA has handled the whole incident so far? Is the punishment too light, too harsh, or just right? I mean, 4 months of 4 months ban from all football activity meaning he won't be able to train with Liverpool. He won't be able to enter the stadium. I mean, the 9 international match ban is also just like a side note compared to that. So what do you think?
Well, I feel that whatever happened, this was a no-win situation for FIFA. I mean, there's been lots of people have said that Suarez has done a very bad thing, and he should be punished accordingly. But no matter how much FIFA had given him, I mean, there'll be some people who say it's too little, some people say it's too much. I mean, recently, Chiellini has just come out himself and says he feels it's too harsh. So even when the victim is saying it's a bit too harsh, you sort of wonder. I mean, it's not just a ban from playing. Suarez is not allowed to train with his teammates. His value is going to drop. If Liverpool want to sell him at all, what's going to happen? We can just wait and see.
Do you think he'll grow unfit during the time that he'll...
Well, he's a professional, so I would imagine that he'll still keep his levels up. But, it's time spent away from his teammates. He wouldn't get to know the new signings at all, wouldn't play with them at all. When he comes back 4 months later, will he still be as effective?
True.
But let's not forget, he just recovered from injury, hasn't he? And it could be like a good rest period for him.
Well, it could. I mean, in this current modern day of football, players don't have a break at all. Remember, they go into long seasons. There's no winter break in English football, and then they go straight into the World Cup. So, yeah, this could help him actually get some rest back again, I think.
All right, and Tinket, final word on this episode. I'm just wondering, do you think there might be some method to this apparent madness? Because, Uruguay did score after a minute after he beat Chiellini, and the previous time when he beat Ivanovic, they also scored, I believe, from Ivanovic's flank. So, do you think actually when he bites someone, he's actually trying to destabilize the whole team? Because it's such a shocking. You don't go into a game expecting
you don't
to get bitten.
Of course, when you take the pitch, you don't expect someone to bite you, right? So, you might be right. It might have destabilized the opponent, but it's quite a novel way to do it, I would say, and it's certainly not within the rules of the game. I've actually read an interview on 442, ironically, that says that Suarez has this mentality where he wants to win at all costs. So maybe that's in that moment he sees the opponent, he doesn't think, he just bites.
He just bites.
So but obviously it's a shocking action, and obviously it's not something that can be condoned, no matter whatever his reasons for it. So I would say that it's a serious offense. Punishment seems serious and seems good enough, but I would say that there are other things, like they maybe made a meal out of it. There are other things like leg breaking tackles. We have seen elbows like Sacco that maybe should have been dealt with more seriously, but just because it's Suarez and he's done this before, the media is overkilling it.
And do you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I think I agree. It's more of a in the moment thing. I mean, remember Suarez, he had that handball too in the previous World Cup where he just does it in the moment. He doesn't think there's a rush of blood to the head, and he just handballs or he bites. So I think it's some kind of psychological problem that has to be looked at.
Yeah, maybe the FIFA punishment should include some counselling or something. Maybe.
Yeah, actually counselling. I think for Suarez, because it's a mental issue
it's
sure.
It's clearly a mental issue.
It's a mental issue, and I agree with you because I think although biting is cannot be condoned, but there are also a lot of other issues like tackling, over the top tackles. You're ending someone's career. Suarez's bite is not good, but
there's a point in there that can be made that FIFA is making a big example of him.
Right? Yeah, true. But
back to your question again. You asked, is it too harsh? Maybe we should ask, is it the right punishment?
Do you think it's the right punishment?
Is it a punishment, or should they be trying to, make him right again instead of, just banning him and coming back and play again after that?
All right, and okay, well, that's all the time we have for part 1 on SportsZone. Coming up after the news headlines, we'll be talking about the other 5 matches from the round of 16. Plus, it's your chance to win the national jersey of either Germany or Japan, as well as the official World Cup CD album. The contest is coming up on part 2 of SportsZone right here on 938 Live.
This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.
Everywhere with you.
Daikin.
This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.
Everywhere with you.
Daikin.
Hey Singapore, this is former Liverpool and Real Madrid winger Steve McManaman. You're locked onto SportsZone on 938 Live.
You're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Noah Tan, and today we are once again talking about the ongoing FIFA World Cup in Brazil. And joining me in this discussion today is my co-host Noor Farhan, along with our studio guests, and they are Zico from 442 Singapore, Tinket from Goal Singapore, and Kenneth Pohl from Vox Sports.
Right, and in the first half of the show, we heard from Liverpool legend Michael Owen, who's currently at an event in Wisma Atria shopping centre, and we also previewed 2 round of 16 matches in Brazil versus Chile and Colombia versus Uruguay. But before we go into the other last 16 matchups, it's time to give away the prizes which we mentioned earlier, courtesy of Adidas Singapore and Sony Music. And a reminder for those of you who've won prizes in the last 4 weeks on SportsZone, you cannot take part today. Well, we're giving away 1 German national team jersey and 1 Japanese team jersey. It's worth $100 each. And in addition, the 2 winners will also get a copy of the latest World Cup album with the likes of the Baha Men, Sergio Mendes, Shakira and Ricky Martin all performing on this CD. The album is called One Love, One Rhythm, and it's now available on iTunes, Spotify, Amped, and at all good record stores. So for a chance to win the fantastic Adidas jerseys of either Germany or Japan, as well as the World Cup CD, call now and tell us the answer to this question. And the question is, There are presently 3 players in this World Cup who have scored 4 goals each. One is Neymar, the other is Lionel Messi. Now, tell us, who is the third player? The only hint we'll be giving you is, of course, he plays for Bayern Munich. I'll repeat the question again. There are presently 3 players in this World Cup who have scored 4 goals each. One is Neymar, the other is Messi, who is the third player. So do call us now with the right answer. The number to dial is 669-11938. So that's 669-11938.
All right, and let's get back down to business as we discuss the remaining 6 matches in the round of 16. And let's get going with Holland and Mexico. Now,
Kenneth, we left off with you. Let's talk about the Dutch adventure so far in the World Cup. They started very, very brightly, 4-0 whacking of Spain, and then now in the round of 16 against Mexico. What's your take on that match, which is happening on Sunday at midnight?
Well, it'll be an interesting match, but Netherlands will be missing Rampus, if I'm not wrong. He's serving a suspension because of a yellow card.
No, I think he served it in the previous game.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'll be back.
Yep. They will have. The question was what again?
What's your take on the Dutch team so far?
Sorry. As I was I told Tinkit before the tournament. I don't really rate them very highly because I think their backline is kind of young. They have Bruno Martins, Stefan De Vrij, and they're all 22 years of age. Daily Blind as well. So I think that's where they will be kind of a suspect. In attack-wise, they have Robin Van Persie and Robben up there for them. Those two can create moments of brilliance from nowhere. And I think people would be focusing their defense on them, but that may work to their advantage because they are the kind of players who can create something out of nothing. So, and the focus on them could create space for and release their other players to like go and do their magic. There's still Wesley Sneijder as well. And not forgetting the hardworking Dirk Kuyt. So, Holland, I guess we could be in for an exciting match, I guess.
Well, what do you think about Robin
and Van Persie? Yeah. I mean, are the Dutch too over-reliant on these two?
You can say they're reliant on them, but I would say that their tactics have been built to suit the two of them. And so far, you have to say it has worked. Robin has been electrifying for the entire tournament. He's the Dutch, they like to play traditionally they like to play possession football, but Robin is the kind of player who take the ball and run. He'll never give it to anyone else, but he's gonna score, so nobody's gonna complain. And kind of made a good point. The defense is young, but they usually play they have started with 5 at the back, so the 3 centre backs give them a very good solid base, while the flankers, the Daily Blind and Darren Jamat, they have worked very hard. So this Netherlands team have actually surprised many people who thought they're traditionally imploded within themselves, but this time they seem to have a very good team spirit and they've done well this season, in this tournament. And against Chile especially, they played their game right. They were defensive, but they got to win, so it worked. So Louis Van Gaal will be very happy with how his team have gotten 9 points out of 3 games.
And Mexico. One word.
Javier
Hernandez.
They've been pretty strong in this tournament so far, I'd say. Tickets nodding to me, he's agreeing. Hernandez, he finally scored his first goal of the tournament. He was pretty relieved about that. But before that, you can see it's a team that, I would give them a chance to do it in this World Cup against the Netherlands. I feel with Mexico,
I think Mexico are a little bit like Chile. They play very fast-paced attacking football. And Hernandez, when he came on against in the last game, he made a very big difference. He changed the attack. They actually went on to score 2 more. They have Guardado. They have a lot of Peralta. So Mexico have actually surprised, and actually they did very well against Brazil in that 0-0 draw. They could actually have won the game, to be honest.
Okay, let's go around the table with predictions then. Kenneth, let's start with you. Holland versus Mexico. Who do you think will win?
Mexico.
Okay. What's the scoreline then? Your prediction?
Probably 1-0.
1-0. Okay. Z.
I think Mexico to give Holland a fight. Netherlands to come ahead.
So, any scoreline?
2-1.
2-1.
2-1. Interesting.
I'm going for a goal fest. 3-2 to Holland.
Wow, okay.
That's pretty brave prediction. Well, let's move on to the next few matches. Let's begin with Costa Rica and Greece. Now, Tenke, let's talk a bit about Costa Rica. They're arguably in one of the toughest group alongside England, Italy and Uruguay, yet they've somehow managed to escape the group completely, unhurt with 2 wins and a draw. What exactly do you think makes them tick?
Firstly, I will have to qualify that, the group looks formidable on paper. I mean, Uruguay, Italy and England, they are 3 former world champions, but to be honest, their team, their squads have been so. They're not very exactly excellent squads for Italy and England. Maybe Uruguay, it was a shock when they lost 3-1 to Costa Rica. So for Costa Rica, I think their strength and key lies in their excellent team spirit. I mean, you look at their squad, none of them play in top flight European leagues. They're all playing for clubs you probably have never heard of. So, but they have played to their strengths. They have started with a five-man defense in every game. So they know that their strength is not. They know that it's not going to be advantageous to them to go out and attack all these teams. So they have built strongly from the back, solid platform from the back, exploit the teams on the counter attack, take advantage of their speed and pace in Joao Campbell and Brian Ruiz, and work to a 3 against Uruguay. You saw they countered 3 times and they scored 3 times. So I mean, you have to say Uruguay will not help by Luis Suarez being missing, but to beat a team that won the Copa America is quite something. As I said, they played smartly, they have played their strengths, they kept things tight. Unbeaten against 3 former world champions, that's quite a feat.
Right now, before we go any further, let's announce our 2 contest winners. The question is, 3 players in this World Cup who have scored 4 goals each. One is Lionel Messi, the other is Neymar, and who is the third player? The answer is Thomas Muller, and our winner for the German jersey is Kwa Lee Hoon, and our winner of the Japan jersey is Eileen Tan Swan Hui. Well, congratulations, you will both also take home the official World Cup CD album. More details of the jerseys can be found on the Adidas SG Facebook, or you can go down to Wisma Atria and check out their pop-up store, which contains all the World Cup merchandise. And as for the CD album, which is called One Love, One Rhythm, it's now available on iTunes, Spotify, Amped, and at all good record stores. Thanks again to Adidas Singapore and Sony Music for our prizes.
Alright, let's turn our attentions back to the pitch, and we left off with Costa Rica and Greece. Let's talk a bit about the Greeks now. I mean, they were very nearly knocked out. They got thrashed 3-0, played out a goalless draw with 10 men against Japan, before securing a crucial victory against Ivory Coast with an injury time penalty that was controversial, to say the least. I mean, so how did you rate their progress through the group stages? Was it a lucky progress? I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to get through, right?
Yeah, probably not everybody expected them to get through, especially against Japan when they went down to 10 men. I thought that was the end of it. I mean, but they were actually, if you watch the game, they didn't actually look like they were down to 10 men, and they could actually beaten Japan, who were very clearly out of ideas. So that shows that it will be very tough to break down Greece in this tournament, and that's exactly where their strength lies. They're going to be hard to break down. They know it's their strength, so that's their game plan. I mean, against Ivory Coast, they had to win, but the coach before the game, the coach said that they would not change their game plan to an attacking one, and it worked because Ivory Coast went on attack, and it played into their hands. They conceded first on a counter attack, which is exactly what Greece are planning to do, exploit the mistakes. So while they came back and Greece, they got a last minute penalty, but before that you have to remember they hit the bar 3 times. So it's not exactly lucky for them not to win it.
Well, so 2 defensive teams going at it in the last 16. That will be very exciting. Okay, well, let's move on to another intriguing matchup in the last 16 between France and Nigeria. The French have performed impressively so far, while the Nigerians have showed some glimpses of quality during the group stage. Of course, there's been a bit of a controversy recently with several of the players not willing to show up for training over bonuses. Z, well, let's get your opinions on this game. People are favouring France because they have the better known stars in the team. Tell us a bit more about what you've seen from Nigeria. How do you rate them as a team?
Oh, Nigeria, I mean, what can you talk about? They started the competition badly, and, I think Coach Kashi's basically been, under pressure. His position is a bit untenable at the moment with all that's going on in the camp. The media tried to get the story out, and the players have refused to train about money issues and stuff like that. But I think in the end, what happens on the pitch is they're going to go forward, definitely. France, what do we have to watch out for? I mean, there's players like Odin Wingy, who's more famous for his premature road trip down to QPR, but he's a handful on the pitch, so they have to watch out for that. For all the attacking that France do, they have to watch their back line. Where can in Nigeria take advantage of? I mean, the back line, there's Koscielny in there, who's a brilliant defender, with Arsenal, and a few you guys know. Propensity to jump into tackles when you get past him. So there's something you have to watch out for too.
Kenneth, do you agree about Z's assessment of France?
Nah, I actually want to disagree. There's because in France they have one weak link, and that should be Patrick Evra. Yeah. I mean, he likes to bombard up the flank, and that leaves his flanks exposed all the time. And they have basic players with Nigeria. I mean, Victor Moses or the Wingy. They all can exploit those spaces, and I think that's where they will hurt France.
That's where the centre backs will come in, wouldn't it? I mean, once your full backs are gone, that's your last line of defence.
But that's where they can attack. I mean, you don't want to play through the middle. In France, you have Paul Pogba in the centre, Johan Cabeye. They're all in the centre. You don't want to play through the centre. You want to play through the flanks. And that's where they can get hurt for me.
And if I might add, Evra is no longer a young spring chicken as well. He can't run back all the time if he's bombing forward. So that area is a problem area for them.
Definitely.
Right, then, Kenneth, if you were the coach of Nigeria, how would you instruct your team to play against France? I mean, you mentioned the flank play, but then all flank play all ends up with crosses, and France are quite good with crosses, aren't they?
They are, but I think that's their best plan for now. Like I said, you don't want to play through the middle with what they have, what you're going to face in the French team. So that's their best option right now, set pieces. I think things like that. Get on the nerves of the French players, tackle them, get them shackled.
You wouldn't expect Nigeria to go all on the counter or attack against France. They will sit back. They'll use their pace on the counter attack to get in behind players like Koscielny and Sako.
All right, let's do a quick preview of Argentina and Switzerland now, as well as hopefully, if we have time, Germany and Algeria. Thank you for staying with you. It's so far been the Lionel Messi show for Argentina. He's never really managed to perform for his country, but now he's firing on all cylinders. 4 goals in 3 games. All of the highest quality, I might add. What do you think changed for him in this tournament?
Everybody has this impression all along that Messi has not performed for Argentina as well as he would have for Barcelona. But if you look at his stats over the past 2 years, he actually has 19 goals in 19 games for Argentina. That's quite some record, you have to say. So you can say that he's been building up nicely to this tournament. He's been slowly taking over the mantle of Argentina's leading man. So it's hard to say why he has excelled at this tournament, but it might be the motivation for him to prove everybody wrong after an underwhelming club season by his standards, 28 goals.
Z, what's your prediction? Argentina and Switzerland?
Well, I think that this will be Messi's time, definitely. I mean, he's always there, good for 1 goal, another goal. Sabella has built a team around him. The players are all supporting him, which is why we've seen him come to his own recently. I would say a win for Argentina, 2-0.
2-0. No goals for the Swiss because the Argentinians do look a bit vulnerable in midfield and in defense, especially. I mean, they've only got Mascherano, who's really impressed. Yep. Apart from that, nobody. What do you think, Kenneth?
No idea.
Well, I mean, as you said, Mascherano's been having a very great World Cup so far. I mean, the defense has been suspect, but so far they've done all right, haven't they?
Yeah, they have done right. Mascherano, I mean, he's the man who's staying back while all the rest go on the attack, so he's mopping up defense. And they have a pretty good keeper in Sergio Romero. But I can actually see the Swiss scoring one, so I'm going for a 2-1 Argentina win.
Right then, time now for Traffic Watch, and when we return, we'll talk about the last 3 games from the round of 16, and you can also call us on 669-11938 with your views regarding the World Cup so far, as well as the upcoming round of 16 games, which starts later at midnight. Time now for Traffic Watch.
Welcome back to the final stretch on SportsZone, and 66911 is the number to call if you'd like to air your views on all things related to the ongoing FIFA World Cup. How do you think Brazil will do against Chile? Will the Dutch be able to end their trophy drought? Should Luis Suarez be banned for life from international football? Well, 66911 is the number to call. For now though, let's get on with the show as we preview the game between Germany and Algeria.
Let's get your opinion on that, Kenneth. Algeria, nobody expected them to go through.
Yep.
Everyone expected Russia. Suddenly a laser pointer being pointed in the eye of Igor Akinfeev, and the Algerians went through. What do you think about the Algerians?
I think that was surprising. Nobody, like you say, nobody expected them to make it through. But I think what works for them is they have boundless energy. They have nothing to lose, and that's what's working in their favor. You just go out and attack. Go for it
and have fun.
Yep.
It's the World Cup.
I think they are very determined side, Algeria. And you have to remember that a lot of them are French-born players. They have that French flair, former French internationals. So they are not exactly lacking in skill, and they've shown that against Russia and Korea. They scored 4 goals against Korea. First African team to score 4 goals ever in a World Cup. So that's quite impressive.
All right, Z, you're an Arsenal fan. Let's talk a bit about Germany. They have a few Arsenal players, including Podolski, Mertesacker, and of course, Mesut Ozil, the most expensive signing in the club's history. How do you think he's doing for Germany so far?
Oh, there's been quite a bit of pressure on him. I mean, since his big money move to Arsenal, we saw him start really well, and all the papers were talking about how well he was doing, and then he sort of dipped towards the end. Maybe it had something to do with the lack of a winter break in England. Coming into this tournament, it helps, I think, because there's been so much talent around him. He's been able to just play a supporting role so far. We might see, some more ability from him later in the tournament, but it's always good to have someone of his caliber in the team.
We'd like to hear your views as well. Number to dial 669-11938 if you'd like to share your views on all the games happening so far in the World Cup. Now let's proceed on to Belgium and the US. Now, I'm sure you've seen the videos of Team USA fans celebrating their progression into the round of 16. Do you think this is the time for American football, or soccer as they call it, to rise in their country? What do you think, Z?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, passionate American fans, and seeing that last-minute equalizer from Ronaldo and the expression on their faces when they went, and can see how much it means to them to actually make it to the next round. And Jurgen Klinsmann, and at their helm now, they finally have, they feel a coach who's renowned internationally and who can bring them to the next stage. Against Germany, they didn't disappoint. They didn't put themselves to any shame at all. I mean, it was a good performance, battling performance against one of the best teams in the world. So, and this could be USA's time. They just need a bit of luck.
Let's talk about. Do you agree on that? I mean, do you need a bit of luck or what?
For USA, I don't think they've come this far by luck. They have the skill. They have the. As I said, they have played to their strengths for USA. Klinsmann has got his tactics right. Against Portugal, they did excellently to come back from 1 goal down. Against Germany, to lose only 1-0 to a team like that's pretty good. They got a win against Ghana 2-1. They have Clem Dempsey, they have Jermaine Jones, they have the talent, they have the team, and it's certainly not by luck that they come so far. And you expect them to give Belgium a good fight.
Now they've beat Portugal. They narrowly lost against Germany. They beat Ghana as well. Okay, and now they're going to take on Belgium, one of the so-called dark horses of the tournament. Yeah. Kenneth, but honestly, personally, I feel the Belgians have not performed at this World Cup so far. 3 wins, yeah, true, but have they really been performing well on the pitch? I don't think so. So what do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I do agree. I think Belgium has been lumbering through their games. They've been toiling unnecessarily with the amount of talent they have. I mean, Hazard, Lukaku, and who else do they have? Benteke and
Marouane Fellaini. Let's talk.
Yeah. Manchester. But yeah, I mean, with the amount of talent they have, you will expect them to be winning games 3-0 at least, 2-0, set the world but they haven't been doing that. And against the Americans, I think they will struggle a bit, especially considering that America has played in South America for the Copa America, has invited participants, so they are used to the altitude and things like that. So I think they have the edge there.
All right, and you mentioned Romelu Lukaku, one of the top strikers in the Premier League. What What's the problem with him? He hasn't scored in the World Cup. He has, in fact, not been performing nearly anonymous during games. So, anyone want to chime in and for a reason why he's not performing?
Not really sure why he hasn't been performing. He's been on fire for Everton, the entire season.
And West Brom the previous season as well.
So maybe stage fright. Maybe he just didn't get going in the first game, and then he was taken out after 58 minutes. And then so it might be the confidence that's affected him. I mean, he started the next game, but again he got taken off after 60 minutes when he didn't do very well. So then he got replaced by Origi, who's
looking very good.
Looks sharp. He looks bright. He looks sharp. He's got to go against in the second game is Algeria at 18-minute goal.
Do you think he's due a move to an EPL club maybe?
Oh yes, I think
Liverpool has been linked with Origi so far. Right?
So it might be the hunger that's working for him. He's nothing to lose. He's fearless. He's come on and impress. He has the confidence to go on and do well. And for Lukaku, Belgium might be better off keeping him on the bench, giving something to prove when he comes on.
But if they lose, then he has nothing more to prove left in the tournament. Okay, let's get all your predictions about this match. Do you think the United States can cause an upset? Will Belgium finally click into gear? How do you guys see this game going? Let's start with you, Kenneth.
I think this might end up as a draw, 1-1 for me.
And then who will progress on penalties?
Penalties, my friend.
That is down to luck. I would go with the Americans.
Wow, okay. Z?
I'll say, much as I'd like to see Fellaini actually cut his hair off, I say a shock win for the US might be on the cards.
Alright, Tinket?
I would tip the Belgians to come good. So 1-0.
Favorites,
1-0 to Belgium, yeah.
1-0, okay.
Alright, so we've one more match. Germany, Algeria. I think it's an easy one for Germany. Or do you think, is that the banana skin
Probably 4-0 to Germany.
I think Algeria wouldn't embarrass themselves. They'll fight hard, but I think a narrow win for Germany, maybe.
They get no chance at all for the Algerians.
I think they'll be very fueled by the events of 32 years ago, where West Germany, and Austria colluded. But I respect Germany's overall quality to show through. So 2-0 Germany.
Right then, we've previewed most, and if not all, of the round of 16 games so far. Let's do a quick review of the tournament. Tinket, your player of the tournament so far.
Colombia's James Rodriguez. I think he's actually lead up the entire tournament. I mean, you have the likes of Messi, Neymar, Müller, but they were expected to do well. They have. Rodriguez he's young. He's 22 years old. He stepped up in the absence of Radamel Falcao. He's now the leading light of Colombia. He has 3 goals, 2 assists. He's actually the top scorer in Colombian history at the World Cup at 22 years old. That's pretty impressive. And you've seen his goals, his composure, his fearless. He can do it all. He starts, he scores. He comes off the bench, he scores and he assists. So it's always excellent to see youngsters take the World Cup by storm, and for that he gets my vote.
Alright, and very quickly now, let's get all your predictions regarding the winner of the World Cup.
Who's gonna win it?
Yeah, who's gonna win it? Z.
What do you think? I'll go for Germany.
Germany, right. Okay.
Well, with the golden boot too, definitely.
Okay, wow.
Germany for me.
Germany as well.
Let's make it 3, Germany.
Wow,
and I'm a German fan, so let's make it 4.
I'm going to go with Colombia.
Alright, awesome. And on that note, we've come to the end of this special World Cup edition with my 3 guests. And they are Kenneth Ho from Vox Sports. He's joined by Tinket, who's the deputy editor of Gold Singapore. And lastly, it's Zico, who's the editor of 442.com in Singapore. Till next time on SportsZone, I'm Noor Farhan.
And I'm Noah Tan. Take care and bye for now.
This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.
Everywhere with you.
Daikin.